Hey, this is Reviews and Other Stuff, and today I'll be reviewing the movie Paws of Fury, The Legend of Hank. This is a new animated film from Paramount Pictures and Nickelodeon Movies. As always, my review will be illustrated and the artwork is done by myself. Now, this film features a big voice cast which includes Michael Cera, Samuel L. Jackson, Ricky Gervais, Kylie Kuoka, not Kaylee Cuoco, from The Big Bang Theory, Mel Brooks, George Takei, Michelle Yeoh, and Jaimin Hansu. This film is directed by three different directors, with one being most famous for directing the original animated film, The Lion King from 1994. This is a non-spoiler review, so I won't be giving anything away that hasn't already been seen in the trailer. As always, with all my movie reviews, I'll tell you briefly about the plot, the characters, my pros and cons, final thoughts, and if this is worth checking out at your local movie theater. The online summary plot states Hank, a lovable dog with a head full of dreams about becoming a samurai, sets off in search of his destiny. Now, when I saw the trailer, I was kind of mixed about whether I was going to see it or not because I was thinking this could be your standard run of the mill typical computer animated film and may not offer anything new. It could be a hit or miss, or just completely shock me altogether and be amazing. I just don't want to be disappointed and let down because sometimes it seems like only Pixar has the magic sauce while other studios get a hit or miss film when it comes to the animation department. But what sold me at the end and why I checked it out was because I really liked the character designs. I thought they were unique and interesting, and they stood out to me. Plus, I love animals, love cats and dogs. They always brighten up my day no matter what. So I decided to check out this film because of the pet lover in me. So, from the trailer, we find the story centers around the main protagonist, Hank, voiced by Michael Cera, who I'm pretty sure is modeled after a beagle dog. I'm almost like 95% sure. And he finds himself in an unusual predicament. The setting takes place in a small Japanese village named Kukamucho, where all the residents are cats. However, the people of the village are being terrorized by Ikachu, voiced by Ricky Gervais, and he wants to wipe the village clean for personal reasons. Now, everyone in the village is completely terrified because no one is equipped to handle the constant barrage of villains. So Hank steps up to the plate in order to defend the village, but he's no samurai. But he's kind-hearted and wants to help everyone, and his heart is in the right place. So, of course, in enters a real samurai, Jimbo, voiced by Samuel L. Jackson, who just happens to also be retired. Yeah, like what are the odds? A real samurai is there to help someone with the ropes, but retired at the same time when the village is in desperate need of help. It can't be more coincidental. So Jimbo is hesitant at first, and after some convincing, he decides to train Hank in the ways of the samurai warrior. Yay! So that pretty much starts the adventure of the film as Hank trains to be a samurai and does his best to master the arts in order to help the small village of Kakamucho. Now, onto my pros and cons of the film, or I'll end up having to go into spoiler territory if I elaborate any further. So let's start with the bad. My first con, and it's not a con necessarily, so it's more like a to be confirmed or undecided. Anyone that knows me knows I'm a huge fan of animated shows and films. I love Japanese anime, but I'll be upfront to say I'm not exactly the target demographic for this movie. But I do think filmmakers out there do find creative ways to release animated films where they strike gold. From time to time, I'll find a rare animated film that is able to capture the attention of both adults and kids with humor that works for both age groups, and they're just lucky to be able to strike that balance. Films that are able to do that include the beloved classics like The Lion King, the first Shrek, Aladdin, The Incredibles, etc. The list goes on and on. So this isn't through a fault of anyone involved with the film, but it's an animated film, so they knew the demographic they were capturing, and that is whom the audience is catered to. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just for me personally, I wish it was able to find a balance. Now, onto my pros. My first pro is the cast. The voice acting is great. I know Michael Cera is sort of typecast at this point, but he continually plays very sensitive, soft spoken characters, and that is sort of his shtick, and he continues that here. Hank is really adorable and friendly and shy, and unsure of himself many times, and Michael really captures that innocence and insecurity and doubt here in his voice acting. Jimbo is great, and I'm sure Samuel L. Jackson was cast because he has such a distinctive voice, and it fits so well in the this comedic setting. I think he just has natural humor in his voice, and his delivery is always great. It has such a specific vibe of sarcastic authority. I'm also a huge fan of Ricky Gervais. He's so funny. I love his quick wit, sarcastic, like off the cuff brand of humor, and he gets to showcase his comedic talents here as well. But I just wish we got some R rated comedy bits from him. Also, I like Mel Brooks, who voices the Shogun. I mean, he's a cat with a New York City accent. You can't top that. My second pro is the animation in the film. It's really beautiful, it's gorgeous, and it's nice to look at. I feel like with animated films, the entire team behind the scenes, they never get the credit they deserve because the spotlight usually goes to the famous voice cast. But a big thumbs up goes to all the folks behind the scenes who spent countless days and endless hours drawing and putting everything together to have such a beautiful end product. I have no idea how this was achieved, and I wish I was talented as everyone behind the scenes. Like I wish I knew how to computer draw like that. There's also flashback scenes in the film, and its animation style is slightly different than the rest of the film, and I like the aesthetic of those scenes. I also like the traditional styles of Japanese culture that was brought and incorporated into the film, from the village to the clothes to the lanterns, to the food. I have no idea how they do that, like with the lighting and the shadow effects of the characters and the details of the characters to the colors. It was all magnificent. Everything just visually pops. Now, my third pro is I did like some of the humor in the film. It does have some fourth wall breaking moments from time to time, like Deadpool. So I feel the film is very self aware of what it is doing. There's also some references here that I wasn't even familiar with myself, so I'm not sure if kids will even pick up on it. There was one thing I had to look up afterwards. So there's a reference in this movie related to the Shogun, and it's from a film he did back in the 1970s. And I wasn't even aware of that because I wasn't born yet and I've never seen that movie. But, anyways, this film is sort of loosely based on that film. I also like the cat and dog puns in this film. They do a lot of them and it's sprinkled throughout, and I thought it was cute and some of it to be endearing when they occur in specific scenes. So, my fourth pro is I also like the themes and messages in the film. There are several, but I think it's great to have those in here because I think it's a wonderful message to send to kids. Whether they get them or not, or completely miss it altogether, is another story. But I like the themes of friendship, finding oneself, and believing in oneself. Like, what exactly is destiny and how do we obtain it? It's also about perseverance and chasing after your dreams and standing up for yourself when you know it's the right thing to do. So, my final thoughts are this film gets a 6 out of 10 from me. It's an average animated film for adults. It's not groundbreaking plot wise by any means, it's not philosophically deep or anything complex, but I think kids will really enjoy it for its beautiful animation, the comedic elements, and the lighthearted tone and energy that it offers. I do recommend seeing this movie in theaters because I think it's a good time to get away and spend time with the kids while also being entertained. There are pros and enough charm to definitely outweigh the cons. I hope you enjoyed this video. Also, if you like, please subscribe. Helps the channel out a lot. I try to make a video once a week if I can. Thanks so much, and thanks for checking out my review. Hope you enjoyed it, and leave your comments below on whether you like the film or not.